Welcome to this session on algebraic structures. In the previous session, we have talked about what are algebraic structures and what are the properties that are expected of an algebraic structure. Just a quick recap. An algebraic structure is a combination of a non-empty set S and a binary operation star defined on the non-empty set S. Binary operation essentially means that this particular operation will take two operands. Say examples of binary operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. One property that must be satisfied by this binary operation star to be considered to be a part of algebraic structure is the closure property. What do you mean by the closure property? We say that if there are two elements A and B belonging to the set SS, then the resultant of the binary operation performed on these two elements must also belong to the set S. There were two other properties that we talked about. One was the commutative property and one was the associative property. But we said that these are not the properties which are expected of the binary operation, but instead if the binary operation exhibits the property A star B is equal to B star A, if the binary operation exhibits this property, then it is said to be commutative. Similarly, if the binary operation exhibits the property A star B star C is equal to A star B star C, then it is said to be associative. In this session, we'll be talking about two special algebraic structures, semigroups and monoids. So let's begin. Let's begin with a semigroup. An algebraic structure S and star, where S is the non-empty set and star is the binary operation, is said to be a semigroup if number one, star is a closed operation on S. Now this is a property that must be satisfied for S comma star to be considered a algebraic system or an algebraic structure. But what additional property is required is that star must be an associative operation. So initially we had a non-empty set S and a binary operation star. Now this combination is said to be an algebraic structure if this is closed. If this binary operation is closed, then this entire structure is called an algebraic structure. Now, closure and associative. If the star is associative as well as closed, then it is called a semigroup. Say for example, the set of natural numbers along with addition is a semigroup. Set of natural numbers with multiplication is a semigroup. Set of natural numbers with subtraction is not a semigroup. Why? Because this subtraction operation is not closed on S. Right? Similarly, we can also check the set of integers with subtraction is also not a semigroup. Why? Because if I say 2 minus 3 minus 5, subtraction operation is usually not considered to be an associative operation. 2 minus 3 minus 4, that gives me 2 minus 1, that is equal to 3. And if I take 2 minus 3 minus 4, that gives me minus 1 minus 4, that is minus 5. So these are not equal. So even this is not a semigroup. If the operation star is commutative, see, commutativity is a very important property. Whatever algebraic structures we'll be studying, commutativity is something that is very special. So if star is closed and associative, then it makes the algebraic structure as a semigroup. But if it satisfies an additional property, that is commutativity, then S comma star is called an abelian or a commutative semigroup. Some of the examples are integers with addition, real numbers with addition, power set with union. These are all examples of abelian or commutative semigroup. Now this word abelian, will be using this word again and again. See, we are talking about semigroup. When we talk about monoid, if it is commutative, then it will be called a abelian monoid. When we'll be talking about groups, if it is commutative, then we'll say it is an abelian group, and so on. Next, let's talk about identity element. Let S comma star be an algebraic structure and let A be in any element of S. Suppose A belongs to S. An element E1 in S is said to be left identity element with respect to star. Left identity element with respect to star if E1 star A is equal to A for all E1 belonging to S. If E1 is an element, it is said to be left identity element if when I operate it upon A from the left hand side, the resultant is also A. And if it is operated upon by right hand side, it is A star E2 is equal to A. If I am operating it from the right hand side, then it is said to be a right identity element. Why are we having two different identity elements? Because once again, let me repeat, it is not necessary that the algebraic structure we are talking about is commutative. So left identity, so that means if I say A star B may or may not be equal to B star A. So this left identity may or may not be equal to right identity. In fact, when we talk about identity elements, left and right identity elements are always equal. Even if the algebraic structure is a commutative one or not, the identity elements are always equal. Left and right identity elements are always equal. So we have E1 and E2, they are same and we denote it by E, which is called the identity element of the set S. Now, let's make one thing very clear. For a given algebraic structure, there can be a single identity element. So the identity element is defined by the operation. Let's take a simple example. If I take the case z and plus, if I take the set of integers and the operation is addition, then the identity element is 0. You add anything to 0, it will remain the same. 2 plus 0 is 2. Minus 3 plus 0 is minus 3. But if I talk about z and multiplication, if I take the multiplication operation, now the identity element becomes 1. So the identity element depends upon the operation. Now, after understanding the concept of an identity element, let's move on to the next algebraic structure, that is the monoid. Remember, we said that a non-empty set along with a binary operation star is said to be an algebraic structure if it is closed. So, set plus binary operation plus closure gives me an algebraic structure. Algebraic structure plus associativity gives me a semigroup. This is what we have talked about till now. And now, if the algebraic structure that I have been given has a identity element, it is not necessary that every algebraic structure will have an identity element. Say for example, the set of natural numbers with addition does not have an identity element. Why? Because for addition, normally the identity element is 0, but 0 is not part of the set of natural numbers. So this will not be having any identity element. So if the algebraic structure plus associativity and if it also has a identity element, then it is said to be a monoid. Let's verify that the set of natural numbers n is a monoid with respect to multiplication. Now it means if I want to check whether the set of natural numbers is a monoid with respect to multiplication, what I need to verify? I need to verify that the operation multiplication is closed on the set of natural numbers. The operation multiplication is associative on the set of natural numbers, and there exists an identity element in the set of natural numbers for multiplication. Now remember, I do not know the property of this algebraic structure, but I know the property of multiplication of natural numbers. So I'll be establishing the monoid nature of this algebraic structure based on the property of multiplication on natural numbers. So we know that the product of two natural numbers is also a natural number. So if A and B are two natural numbers, so A multiplied by B is also a natural number. You take any two natural numbers. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 10, 20, 100, 500, Whatever two natural numbers you take and you multiply the two natural numbers, you will be getting another natural number. So the multiplication is a closed operation. Associativity, once again we know that multiplication of natural numbers is associative, as this a multiplied by b multiplied by c is equal to a multiplied by b multiplied by c. This is something that I know about the multiplication of natural numbers. So this is associative. And we also know that we have an identity element. One is an identity element for multiplication, such that when I multiply anything by 1, if a multiplied by 1 and 1 multiplied by a, this is all equal to a. So the identity element exists and it is 1. So we have the closure property, we have the associativity, and we have the identity. So this is a monoid. N is a monoid with respect to multiplication. Let S comma star be a semigroup. Remember, when I say semigroup, what I mean is that the binary operation must be closed and it must be associative. Let S comma star be a semigroup and let T be a subset of S. T is a subset of S. If T is closed under the operation star, then T comma star is called a sub semigroup of S. Right? We do not need to check for associativity because the elements of T are actually the elements of S also. And if S is a semigroup, that means S is already associative. So we do not need to check for associativity in case of T. We just check that T comma star is closed. What it means is if I take any two elements from T and I perform the operation star, then the result will also be from T. So it will be called the sub semigroup of S. So if n comma dot, that is a set of natural numbers along with the multiplication operation, is a semigroup, and if T is a set of multiples of a positive integer m, let us say there is a positive integer, let us say 5, and T is a set of multiples of 5, that means let us say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 and so on. So this T is a subset of the set of natural numbers. So we say that T comma dot or T comma multiplication is a sub semigroup of the group semigroup n comma dot. Right? Let S comma star be a monoid. When I say monoid, I mean it should be closed, it should be associative, and there should be an identity element E. Let S comma star be a monoid with an identity element E, and let T be a non-empty subset of S. T is a subset of S, and if T is closed under the operation star and if the identity element E belongs to T, then T comma star is called a submonoid of S comma star. Right? That brings us to the next important property, that is the inverse element. Let S comma star be an algebraic structure and let E be the identity element of S. An element A is said to be left invertible with respect to star if there exists an element B such that B star A. See, B is on the left side of A, so that is why we call it left invertible. B star A is equal to E and B is called the left inverse of A. Similarly, we can define the right invertibility and right inverse. See here, C is on the right hand side of A, so C is called the right inverse. So if A has both a left inverse as well as a right inverse, then we say A is invertible. So if star is an associative operation, that means if it is at least a semigroup, then if the inverse of A, if it exists, is unique, that means the left inverse and right inverse will both be same and it is denoted by this A inverse. Right? The identity element is its own inverse. Let's take this property that we said that the inverse exists, it is unique. Let's prove it. To show that the inverse of A is unique, let us say there are two elements. There is an element A and it has two inverses X and Y. Now we'll try to show that if there are two inverses x and y, both of them are same. Right? We say that y is equal to y star e. E is the identity element. Y is equal to y star e. I can write it like this. Right? So e, what is e? E is a star x. Why? Because x is an inverse of a. So a star x will be e. So I write y star e. E can be written as a star x. As the operation is associative, I can write y star a star x. Y is also a inverse. So I can write y star a is equal to e. So y star a is e star x. So e star x is equal to x. So I get y is equal to x. That means both the inverses are equal. Now a very important point. Remember, I said that the identity element, if it exists, is unique, and identity element is of the set with respect to the operation star. So identity element can be there can be a single identity element for the entire set. For the entire set of natural numbers with multiplication, there is a single identity element, that is 1. But when I talk about inverse element, each and every element will have a inverse element, right? So identity element is for the set, inverse element is for the element. Another important point to keep in mind is that the inverse element depends not only on the element but also on the operation. Let's take an example. Let's take the set of rational numbers, and if I say that the operation is addition. So for addition, for the set of rational numbers, the identity element is 0. So for, let us say, a rational number 1 by 2, the inverse element of 1 by 2 will be minus 1 by 2. Why? Because 1 by 2 plus minus 1 by 2 is equal to 0. But if I say that for the rational numbers, the operation is now multiplication. So for the same number 1 by 2, now the inverse, as the identity element for multiplication has changed to 1, so now the inverse of 1 by 2 can no longer be minus 1 by 2. Why? Because if I multiply 1 by 2 and minus 1 by 2, it will become minus 1 by 4, which is not the identity element. So now the inverse of 1 by 2 will be 2 by 1, because the product of 1 by 2 and 2 by 1 is equal to 1, the identity element, right? So the inverse element depends both on the element as well as the operation. Let's proceed further. We said that algebraic structure plus closure plus associativity gives me the semigroup. Semigroup plus identity gives me monoid, and monoid plus inverse. If each element of the set has an inverse, then the algebraic structure is said to be a group. So for the algebraic structure to be a group, the binary operation must be closed, must be associative, there must be an identity element, and each and every element must have an inverse. And if the operation is also commutative, then it is said to be an abelian group or a commutative group, right? So we'll talk about group in much detail in the subsequent sessions, right? Till the next time, thank you.